Reallyfe Street Stars. We in here with Chalie Boy, the legend. Get it. What the fuck, nigga? Chalie Boy, the legend. I know y'all playing. Chalie Boy, the legend in this bitch, yeah. Hey, man, I know everybody know the history, but we got some youngsters on this channel that may not be all the way tapped in. So for them, for those who ain't knowing deaf, dumb, stupid, living up under a rock, man, tell them where you're from.
My name is Chalie Boy, C-H-A-L-I-E-B-O-Y, Chalie Boy, no R, Chalie, not Charlie. For those
Chalie.
that, you know, it's been going years, people still get my name wrong, what it is. I'm from Herndon, Calvert, Texas, and I've been doing music since the year 2000.
Now, before we get all the way into the music, give us a little bit about your upbringing. You know, for those who's not familiar with that part of Texas that you're from, you tell us about a little bit about it.
All right, yeah. Herndon, Calvert, Texas, for my Texas folk and people that might have a little idea about Texas on the map. You have I-45 that runs from Dallas to Houston. You have I-35 that runs from Dallas all the way down to San Antonio. They parallel each other. Right in the center, Central Texas, is Highway 6 that runs from Waco all the way to Hempstead, which gets you to 290 to get you either way. So that's where I lie. You go from Waco, Highway 6, on down towards Bryan College Station. You're gonna pass Marlin, Texas, then Calvert, Texas, then Herndon, Texas. They 9 miles apart from each other. And that's where I'm from, also known as the Crossroads of Texas.
Amen. So we're gonna get right into it, man. You've been doing the music since 2000, man.
Yes, sir.
What made you get into the music?
Man, I've been singing all my life since an infant. My mother was up until just recently my musician at our church, and I ain't had no choice but to sing.
Right.
She figured out I had some type of sound, so once that's it, you in the choir, you gonna sing, you gonna do your thing.
Now, did you want to be in the choir, or did you like?
Nobody at some point wants to be in the choir.
Right.
You know, first off, your mother's the musician, so she's there at church, she's there at revival, she's at Bible study and everything. Y'all doing hymns and everything and singing, and you don't have a choice there. You got to do that. But then you're required to be in the choir.
Right.
Nah, at some point it gets tiresome. I wasn't the ones that just really wanted to sing.
Right.
I knew I could, you know, from doing singing, grandmother and everything in church, and people complimenting you. But it wasn't just one of those, I want to sing. It was pretty much forced on me.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. I just didn't want to do it so much.
Now,
Choir practice really get on your nerves.
boy, I'm trying to tell you. How long? What's the longest you ever been at church?
When you go on Bible study vacation to a camp, it's you might well say 24 hours. You wake up by like 6 in the morning.
Crazy.
You go to one church, then you go to another church, then it's lunchtime. You don't really go back to the hotel or whatever. You right outside in the parking lot eating sandwiches or going wherever you're going. You're back at another church across town. It's an all-day thing, and then don't have a revival with that. So, man, I can't even tell you how long. It's just long.
This is, man. And then, so what was that church meal that was just, you was like, if I have to eat this one more time?
Oh, man.
Because for me, it was like the chicken and that white bread.
That's the church starter pack. That's the church starter pack. That's the funeral starter pack. Like, it's, for kids, you getting one wing, a whole bunch of green beans.
Man.
If you got the good cook, you got the green beans with the ham in it. If you got the bad cook, you just got that flat out can of green beans that don't taste like nothing. So you always hope you got that one, you at the right church where the good cook is on duty for the day.
Amen. So, you know, fast forward a little bit, you're grown now.
Mm-hmm.
You stepped into the rap genre.
Yeah.
How was that transition, and how did Did you get looked at funny when you kind of started branching off to do?
No, well, not really. I mean, you grow up singing, like, I mean, even when I started, like, I didn't stop singing in church. Like,
Okay.
I don't, I'm not that on the fence of whoever's a Bible thumper or whatever they think about towards me. That's your bag. I
Gotcha.
mean, I know where my faith lies and what I do,
Amen.
and that doesn't change me and my life and my feeling of expression. Like though as a baby I was forced into do it and it got bothersome sometimes. That's never left me. When come home and go to church, like you still kind of ain't got no choice. You got to get up. You know, all right, whatever you want, mom. You want me to go?
Whatever
sing?
you want, mom.
Whatever you want, mom. I'm not gonna refuse you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a bad thing for me. That's just one piece of musical background that I got to be a part of and understand the sounds and the feeling and the vibe and how it makes people feel. That was my first introduction of getting to see how people actually you can change a whole person's mood with sound. And then when you match sound with words, it's a real powerful tool. So when I started doing music in 2000, it was nothing big. I wasn't expecting, if I was going to get into the business, I didn't expect to get into it on like the rap side. If I ever did, I figured it'd be somewhere like musical R&B or whatever. So it wasn't a bad transition. It was just rap people was like, who is this? And I was like, I ain't telling y'all. Y'all will find out if it goes somewhere. Other than that, it was no big difference. I mean, some of my older family members were shocked because they didn't realize that, you know, that was me. Because that's a whole different ball game. Gospel at one point was more slow or contemporary, more old school, more hymnal style. So it wasn't as advanced like church music now is as advanced as rap music now.
Definitely
today.
is.
Like it's hard to tell the difference, to be honest. And other than the wordplay.
Right.
But at that point, it was just a transition over into just a different sound and style.
Amen. Now, I was younger, so I know you was a part of Dirty Third.
Right.
With DJ
Still.
Bull. You still Dirty? Okay.
Third Records,
How
yes,
did you, is that something you created? Is that something you were a part of? How did that relationship come to be?
DJ Bull is the CEO of Dirty Third Records.
Okay.
I came along in 2000 when I met a friend of Bull's whose name is Bernard. Well, nickname is Nord, AKA Nord, Donald Gambrell. They were partners in many ventures, one being owning a store in Bryan College Station called the Hip Hop Shop, DJ Bull's Hip Hop Shop. They also had one in Huntsville, Texas, that was called the Ear Doctor, where Bull was a DJ also. He went to school at Sam Houston, graduated from Sam Houston, and that's where Dirty Third Records was originated. I met Nord while I was working at a chicken plant, Sanderson Farm. I found a music store. I stopped in and would buy a rap CD, a R&B CD, and whatever screw tape or CD, whether it be Swisher House, just starting fresh in the area, Dirty Third Records, Freestyle Kings, Swisher House, Chameleonaire, all of those guys, while they were still fresh on the scene for the newer guys outside of Screwed Up Click. So rap, R&B, and a screw CD. One day while I was in the store, getting off work, there was some people I met from being in high school, sports and all that, some young ladies. They asked me to sing a girl happy birthday on the phone. I did. Nord heard it, and he was like, I didn't know you could sing. It was like, you didn't ask. Well,
Right.
it was not something that I would just go and show off to people. So one day he tells me, like, hey, Bull wants you to come sing a few hooks on the tape. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I go down, and every Friday there would also be one member of the group, or the Freestyle Kings, that would probably work the shop on a Friday. So I met Tight, I met Rhino, and I met Coop before coming down. When I got there, Tight opened the door and gave me this real funny look, like, what you doing down here? I'm like, Bull sent me down to sing some hooks. That's what Noah said. So they told me, hold on, because they were working on a tape, which was called No Holds Barred. And I sat out there for a minute. And then I sat out there for another hot minute. And then I sat out there for another hot minute. I was like, nah, well, it's not that big a deal to me. It's
Right.
not that big. So I was going to get ready to go. Then they opened the door and was like, come on, you can come on in. I sat down, I talked to Bull. He was like, so you want to jump on the tape? And I was like, well, I guess that's the point.
Right.
Noah says you wanted me down here to sing some hooks on the tape. He was like, nah. I told him if you wanted to jump on the track, then you could. I was like, well, that's when I was fresh. Like, I really wasn't doing any rapping or the whole idea of freestyling. We play around with it, but it was nothing I ever took seriously about that. So I was like, nah, I'm good, I'm cool, don't worry about it.
Right.
He was like, nah, I don't want you to feel like you wasted your time. I'm like, I never waste my time.
Right.
And he was like, but if you want to do something, feel free. I was like, okay, cool. I did something. The first thing that I ever got on with Dirty Third Records was No Holds Barred, and it was the Nelly Country Grammar beat. Mm-hmm. And after I got done, it was kind of quiet. Then it was like, you want to jump on something else? I was like, man, that's cool with me, that's fine. I think I did like 3 total tracks on that project. And then it was like, the tape came out. And when it first came out, Noah gave it to me in the store. And I was like, oh, that's what's up. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It sounded good. I just wanted to hear myself, and that was cool. So he was like, yeah, man, we already sold out of this one down here at the store. I was like, oh, that's what's up. That's cool. He's like, they keep going to this track. That's the track you on. I was like, well, that's all right.
Batter Up, right?
No, Country Grammar.
I'm tripping, yeah.
So we move further along. We get to the next tape. Because they asked me would I like to jump on another one. I was like, all right, fine, cool. Then they asked would I like to be a part of the group. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. So after that, we just move on forward. So I've been down with Dirty Third Records since the year 2000.
So, at first it seemed like, and this might still be the case, it seemed like you was very nonchalant about it, like it could have went either way. Like, when did the music start being like, oh, okay, I'm actually finna eat off this?
I never looked at it like that. I never looked at it like that. I love music. Mm-hmm. And my whole thing was, well, it's just a shot at being heard. Now, that's a byproduct.
Yeah.
If you are good or you have some of value or worth, then people gonna try to send you money or invest in that part. That's all the blessing part. I appreciate that. I'm thankful for that.
Right.
But music has always been my way of expressing myself and enjoying getting out. That's been my therapy, if you want to call it, to this day. So anything and everything that I do create is not to mimic a wave or ride whatever type of music, as I like to consider myself as an artist now. So I try to create a little bit of everything, and that's my freedom, that's my passion.
Now, as you were building your career, because as early as I can remember, because I've been listening to you for a long time, you were pretty much the first person to intertwine singing and rapping. For me, the earliest song I can remember is this, and I don't know exactly how it goes, but you was like, this is for the Cadillacs, Caprices, and this shit. Yeah. So, like, and I remember hearing that shit and be like, damn, don't nobody even sound like this.
Well, before, I mean, there were others that have done it before. Big Mo, Big T, Ronnie Spencer. There's a lot of musical, talented artists in the H-Town area that were doing that and in place on a lot of the South Side artists like Fat Pat and all those. There were a lot of guys that were doing their thing in Houston.
Yeah.
And it's been a big thing about me possibly sounding like Mo, but that's the ticket is everybody tries to bunch you in the same group.
Right.
Mo and I have completely different styles.
Yeah.
We have the same sound. We're in the same type of vocal range. So when we sing, it sounds like similarities. But he and I have and had different type of rhyme schemes and patterns that we would use.
I felt like I always felt like yours was more gritty and Big Mo's was more like jolly. I don't know where I got that from, but he was like more so like, I always felt like you had a more street sound to yours. And then Mo 3 was just kind of, not Mo 3, Big Mo was more so like, I don't know, but I didn't listen to, I wasn't a Big Mo.
Gotcha. I'd say, though Mo had force in his voice, he was more still on the laid back Houston player style.
Right.
So it was just, whereas you'd hear one song from me sounding this way, you hear another song from me sounding another way, and it wouldn't always be about H-Town culture or slab culture. I might throw a real song in between. Mo would have a few, but more laid back and Southern player and hometown style. That's what I would say.
Now you said that you didn't really, like you wasn't just really vocal about you being able to sing, but you have the hazel eyes and you have the voice. That was not why was that not your niche? Why did you? Because I would have been on every young lady in all of Texas.
Man, I really, like I said, man, I'm still in this for the love of the music.
Right.
Like, I forget that I get a lot of compliments about it, but I mean, they're mine. I don't think that or had that, I don't have an ego about me. I can, and maybe to some I should, but that's not important.
Right.
I enjoy doing the music, I enjoy vibing, I enjoy connecting, and it's funny because sometimes I like to look a person in the eye, but I know sometimes when I'm getting that look back, like you can't figure out what you want to do, I don't look at people.
Right.
So it's never been the idea, it's there to use as a niche, but my talent is bigger than a niche.
Amen. Now, you had the song, the big hit on My Mama. How did you come up with that song?
We were in the lab, just coming across beats. My engineer at the time, J Mark, came across this beat from a producer by the name of Jay Bray out of Virginia. We listened to it, broke it down. I created the verses, then I put them in place. We listened to it for a little while, and it was like, I think we got one.
Now, how'd your mama feel about that when she heard that song?
My mama doesn't care. My mom doesn't care about none of that. She's like, I like that, that's catchy, but like overall, it wouldn't know.
Because my mom would have been like, why is that on me? Why'd you put that on me? Like, what does that mean?
My mom doesn't care about anything. Like I said, she's a musician, and she was in choir and teaching, singing and all of that. So her whole thing was on just pattern, length, catchiness, and sound. And
have you ever thought about doing a song with your mom?
With my mom?
Yeah.
My mom doesn't care. You like, nah, I ain't worried about all that. I try to get in the studio all the time to either play something and get a producer to create a beat around it, but she don't care.
Oh, that's crazy. So, with the success of that song, where all places did that song take you? Like, what did you do? Because it was so big, and I remember just hearing it everywhere. What all did that song create for you?
It put me on a few USO tours, and I've been to all 50 states numerous times. So before I Look Good, Dirty Third Records, we and Freestyle Kings, we dropped a tape called Off the Chain, and we were dropping mixtapes. So we were traveling the whole Chitlin circuit for a while, from Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Georgia. Touched Florida a few times before that. And then we took off with I Look Good and just hit all 50.
Now, the world has become so social media.
Right.
You came up in the age where it was hand to hand, you know, looking people, meeting people, touching the fans. What do you feel like is more effective for you?
In this day and age, all of it.
Okay.
Like, I know hand to hand is still real. Now it's gone from, if you go hand to hand, it's gone from a real physical CD to now USB.
Right.
But also the value in that USB has also gone up too. So you can put a lot more music on. So I could put my whole catalog on and sell it for way more.
Right.
In hand to hand at a time, or do single projects and make just as equally as much money.
Right.
And then on the same effect, you download a stream. Now the streams aren't as price friendly for you because you don't own the website, you don't own the platforms, and you have to conform to some point to whatever they say they'll give you for you being on their platform. In some ways, you can't deny not being on those platforms,
right,
because they do still generate you money, and it's another source of income. You have streaming, then you have physical, then you also have radio.
Right.
So all those things are still important. Then you also have radio as far as radio and television. All of those things are important. If you can't get all of those things, then you're making money in different types of avenues all at once about one thing. So all of those things are important.
Now, have you felt the need to because I know you had currently have a song that's going viral, but I also know that song is not, you just didn't put that out.
That song's about 10 years old.
Yeah. Cause it's funny because I was talking to a friend and she was like, yeah, that song, we used to work out to that. And I was like, do you think if that machine would have been back there, like you would have been like
Totally different story.
Totally different story.
Totally different story. But this is what I also tell people as well. And I give people this example because what song did he have? Vic, V-I-C, had a song called Silly.
You should get silly, yeah.
Silly went crazy.
Crazy.
Vic followed up with Wobble.
Wow.
He aired it on BET, 106 in Park. And when it came out, they didn't even show like they loved it on 106 in Park. The squad, the people, the fans, they was really not liking it because of how his visual was or who he had in his visual. They didn't really like that. So, and it wasn't just a back and forth like you could go flip out and do it. You just aired it. The song was good then, but it just disappeared for a while. Like nobody liked it. Then out of nowhere, you know what we got songs that we call family reunion songs. Wobble started hitting trail rides, dances, weddings, all of that, and went crazy. Generated a whole new streaming avenue for him for an older song. I tell people all the time, a song that's good, you can never run from it because it's a timeless song.
Right.
You can't run from a good song. We still listening to old school songs, Frankie Beverly and Mays and all of that. And young cats are trying to flip these beats to keep recognizable sound in their songs to make money off of hopefully them having some talent and some style, but you recognizing something new from something old. But when you make something flat out and you generate something original that doesn't hit right now, that doesn't mean it's done. You give it a little time, and with social media and all these platforms coming out of nowhere and people doing dances and videos and trying to create so much content now to stay relevant, they're like a DJ. They're gonna dig somewhere in a crate to put a meme together, to put a voiceover together, to put a sound together to make themselves go viral. And once you do that and you have music that's a part of that, it goes along with it. And if it's good, then it beats out all the rest of the memes and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy because, and then when you said Wobble, like I know if he's gonna be rich, he's gonna be able to make money forever off that.
That's the perfect example that I
Yeah.
give anyone about also the understanding of telling people about your paperwork.
Amen.
Now, if you don't have your paperwork in order, it don't matter when you drop that song, and it don't matter if that song come back and does crazy numbers, however it does viral, streaming, television, somebody picks it up, you losing money. And that's money you will never get back if you don't have your paperwork in order.
Now with the recent of this song going viral, how many people have approached you like you're somebody new, like you just came out?
Well, the honest thing is, a lot of people, even when we dropped I Look Good, it had a great run, but it didn't have a stellar run, even though it's a great song.
Right.
Even though it's known in the circles of business, it wasn't correlated over to everywhere as far as fan-wise like we wanted, like it should have, or like it shows from people talking about it. So being where I am from and still prior to the social media platform explosion, a lot of people still don't know my name with the song. They know the song.
Yeah.
They don't know my name with the song. Thick Fine Woman. They know the song, but they don't know my name with the song. They don't know my face with the song. Because I don't do a lot of flamboyant stuff.
Right.
I do what's necessary, and maybe that might be a little slight for the moment. But I stay out in the fake, in the media. I stay out in the open. I don't hide. You just don't notice me. I'm 5'5". Yeah, I got funny eyes, but if you're not looking, you're not gonna notice me. And I don't make myself stand up. That's not my MO.
Now,
But when you get on the stage, when you see me at a show, you'll never forget me.
now, and I want to ask you about that because you've always been very humble. I used to work at a record store named Eargasm, like 1,000 years ago. So, and I seen you come in there a couple of times. Always very humble. Always not the, because you would be with Rhino and everybody else got 20 trains on. You got your one. You in the cut. What made you never just go like or like put yourself like in that position to be more flashy? Because it seems like that's the industry. Like if you don't make yourself
yourself look away, then they don't show. True. Yeah. That is real. That's real. But that's not. I got a team behind me that does stellar business. DJ Bull, B Dibbles, that's my driving force on the business side. I'm not gonna miss anything that's for me business wise, and I'm also gonna be a part or close to anything going down if needed for a business to make extra money. So my business is tight.
Okay.
If I'm gonna miss out on something because I didn't throw a couple extra chains on, it's not for me. I'm not tripping. I'm not chasing that. The work that I put in is gonna give me the work that I earn and I deserve. If it's gonna bring me any more, then that's gonna because the work I did for somebody new is gonna spread the word about me business-wise to other people. I don't need, nor did I ever want that because it wasn't important to me.
Amen. You mentioned trail rides. Now that is something that it happens in a part of Texas or country parts of every city or wherever that I didn't even know nothing about. Tell us about trail ride, the experience. What is that like?
Man, if you've never been to a trail ride, and trail rides are not just set to Texas. Trail rides, if you've ever been to South by Southwest, then they have one of those in every state, but it's called something else.
Right.
Might be Vibe Fest. I don't know if that's a real thing, but they have something like that everywhere. But you got trail rides everywhere, and they go crazy.
Right.
It's from blues, hip hop, R&B, soul, Zydeco. You're gonna have a whole mix of every type of musical vibe, and you're gonna see every color person that has ever been shown the trail ride culture and ride horses. It's not just about horses, It's about trucks, it's about trailers, customized four-wheelers, all of that. Racing, it's just a good vibe and culture. If you ever, you gotta come to one to see how you really get down. The food, all of that. You gotta come to one to see how you get down. And I guarantee you, you'll look for the next one.
Amen. Now, tell me about your craziest trail ride you've ever been on.
Man, I deal with a bunch of different trail rides. I shout out to my partners, Real Deal. You got some San Antonio Royal Steppers. They get down. I mean, I don't know about the ones here because you got some here in this city too.
Right.
You just probably haven't known about them. But those are two that I rock with tough. They show me a lot of love and support, and they get wild. You think somebody can rock an arena? Wait till you feel the ground move outside from just hundreds of thousands of people. Not even the horses racing, not even the music blasting on that. Just people trail line dancing and all of that. That stomping get crazy.
That is crazy. Do you feel like, because you said that's a culture, and that's a culture that exists that a lot of people don't know about. Do you feel like you have your hands in that culture as well as the current culture, the hip hop culture, like city culture as well?
Thing about me is, like I said, I try to pride myself to be an artist, and hopefully fans see myself as that way.
Right.
I don't just box myself into one avenue of music. I make whatever I choose to make. Hopefully it sounds good, it translates into those communities, and I do business with low level to higher level musicians and singers and artists. So I think I have a place everywhere as long as I'm grinding and putting my mind to it.
So what are we doing currently? What are we working on right now?
I'm in the lab generating new music, as well as still getting not just Thick Fine Woman, still getting some older music looked at for catalogs for sync licensing, which is another avenue.
Right.
Sync licensing, video games,
wow.
and more commercials. So as I'm working on new stuff and I don't have a date on which I'm gonna put something out, I'm still doing features for other artists. I'm also doing writing for other artists.
Oh.
And all of that across the board is going.
So how did you get into writing? Like, because a lot of people don't know.
Because I write.
Yeah.
And someone just calls and like, hey, I want Chalie Boy on a song.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would he charge me to write a song? So like, it's low level, and then there's big industry level for major money, and then someone trying to come up and also show themselves to get signed, and then so it's a lot of different levels to writing.
Man, it seems like you're very multifaceted. How did you come upon all this knowledge? Did you just learn as you go along, or was it something that like you immersed yourself in, or how did that work?
I learn as I go along, but I'm deeply rooted in the knowledge about it by my team, Bull and Brian. When these people call us and they book us and they talk about it, we thoroughly get intuitive with learning the business, keeping our ear to the street with DJs, like being out here in Dallas. It's a relative of mine named DJ Hustle Man. He's in the street, so I got street knowledge in the street. I got business knowledge on the block and in the business boardrooms. So we're trying to just learn and understand and listen to everything that what's going on. I'm not out of date with knowing who's up and coming, and either sending a shout out to them or working on a project with them, or an old school that's working on something and still has his hand in the fire working on it. I work every corner that I can work.
So the hip hop culture, as of recent, well, not as of recent, but it's been growing to a very dark place, and it's caused a lot of artists to lose their lives. Dallas, we have Mo3, Chicago, Vaughn, just so many different lives are lost behind music. What is your perception on that? Because it's so different from when we were growing up and we're doing music and the music we see now versus the music we had then versus the music we see now.
Man, I'm not gonna be political or try to be political about it. I mean, it's the access to weapons because rap today, I mean, you can go back to NWA, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Too Short has been talk about pimping, hustling, killing, murder, everything that goes on in our community. And those things didn't stop when I started. I'm just not on that line of music. Right. I can get there, I can go there, but I'm not on that. And there's a fluctuation of that style of music just being pushed out all the time. Because there's we call them backpack rappers because, you know, the higher thought guys, you know, I listen to stuff like Earth Gang and all of those very lyrical people. No disrespect to them, but they don't get that light, they don't get that shine because that's not correlating to a lot of the businesses that's making money.
Right.
So the focus is on black crime or just crime itself. And our people, we got a thing about not backing down. So when our diss records come out, it's a lot more serious now with the access to type of things that we didn't have so much for. When I started and back before me, you got a problem, you got beef, you meet up, or it's not on camera, it's not shown, fight go down, it's either respect or continued disrespect, and we're gonna air it out how we need to air it out. Now, they literally air it out. Right. So it's dangerous on that side, and yet it's still beautiful on another side, because though that music's not getting highlighted, it's still a whole bunch of beautiful music out there. Mm-hmm. The dark side, I wish, you know, we slow down, we find out how to get together like Pimp C. Pimp C said, we get together, get this money, instead of busting heads and losing lives and trying to find GoFundMes and cash apping people to bury people.
Amen.
And eating that chicken.
Cause whew,
green beans nasty.
Man, you got any shout outs?
Man, shout out to any and everybody that listens to me, whether they know me or not. I appreciate your support, especially haters. I love negativity. If you don't have any negativity going a certain way, then you're not doing the right thing.
I've never heard it put like that.
That's the truth.
And then if anybody want to get in contact with you for any bookings or features, how would they do that?
You can contact my manager, Brian, who is on Instagram, @BDibbles. That's B-D as in dog, I-B-B-L-E-S. Or contact him at 512-731-5842. Once again, 512-731-5842.
And before we get all the way out of here, I just have one question.
What's up?
Let's say you're talking to a young lady. Y'all been knowing each other for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And she call you, say, Charlie, my air went out. Can you help me with this bill? Now, we all know it's 120 degrees outside. Does Chalie Boy help with that electric bill?
Do I help with that?
Yeah. By help means pay the whole thing. Man. And then on that note, we here with the legend, Chalie Boy. Don't get it twisted. Man, I just want to thank you for coming, spending some time with us, talking with us. Man, you are truly, you were somebody I grew up on listening to. You're definitely a pioneer of this music shit. Not only just this Texas shit, but this whole South shit. I salute you, man. And you are a real life street star.
I appreciate you guys having me. Much love.
Amen.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga.
Move.